Hey folks, Jaxzyn here. We're going to be doing a little bit of a different run tonight. I'll remove that right now. What we're going to be tackling is actually an appearance set that's been pretty elusive for me to date, and we're going back. So you can see what was once the most popular of all the Paladin armor, and still I think one of the best, this Judgment armor. The layout kind of goes pretty incredibly with the whole Retribution theme that I enjoy playing. So you can see I've got the sabatons, the leg plates, the belt, gauntlets, bindings, and breastplate. So I'm going to show you where we've got to go and which bosses we have to defeat to pick up the Judgment Spalders, as well as the Judgment Crown. So I'm trying to get that shoulders and headpiece. I'm actually at the Searing Gorge right now, just north of Blackrock Mountain. That's where we've got to make our way. Anyone who's not aware, Blackrock Mountain has been essentially a pinnacle of the whole Warcraft storyline since the very, very beginning. So it's been incorporated several times, and we're actually just going to head south, go into one of two entrances. As you make your way out, you're in the Molten Span here. You can see some of the layout as it's been crafted by dark dwarves, and we are actually going to make our way up and over to an entrance to a raid. So here we are in Blackrock Spire. Looks like someone's been here recently, that level 56 corpse. So actually we end up going back. It looks like I'm going to get joined by this druid. Actually end up needing to go back in time to experience this. So in order to do so, you click on the Orb of Command. It says a large humanoid hand print is embedded on the surface of the orb. Despite what appears to be constant manipulation and handling, the orb remains unmarred. Place your hand on it. And just like that, we're into Blackwing Lair. This is definitely one of the classic all-time raids that we have to really get to come back and enjoy. Forgive me for a moment. I'm just going to put on my legendary boots to allow me to get a little bit more of a sprint. So you've got these three NPC bosses. Do not kill the controller. So you can kill that one, then tap the orb. Once you get the orb, alright, you essentially begin to possess Grethok, and this is a controlled black dragon. You can see, nice four-legged black dragon. Previously, this boss, this whole instance, required multiple members to defeat. Now we start to make a fair bit of progress. So you can see Grethok is aware that he's being controlled and manipulated. Shows up as a pet. Previously the channeling time to destroy these eggs was significantly longer. Recently Blizzard has come through. First they removed the requirement to have multiple individuals to knock down these eggs, and then even up to 1 or 2 expansions ago it was still a pretty major challenge. So that's it, all the eggs are down, and now for a simple pally like me, it's just a quick put down, and that boss is toast. So let's take a peek at what we get here quickly. Bindings of Transcendence, so that's some Risk for a Priest, that's some more Risk for a Priest, and an Arcane Infused Gem, which for a hunter would have been pretty impressive at this point in time. Item level 75, so you can see we're throwing it back quite a ways. We next have a semi-possessed. Yeah, they don't really like that. We've got a semi-possessed dragon here. Valestraza the Corrupt. Valestraz. I think that's right. Essentially, this big dragon takes one for the team. little bit of rune cloth here. Not really going to pick that up. Most of the mats from Blackwing Lair don't have a whole lot of value. This is my celestial dragon. This is one of my favorite companions. You'll see this in a lot of videos. The corrupt dragon yells, "I beg you mortals, flee, flee before I lose all sense of control. The black fire rages within my heart. I must release it." So this is all tied to essentially nothing. It's basically tied to the whole component of dragons becoming possessed. We can dip down into the loot or the storyline, sorry. But we'll get there pretty quick. But before we get into that, Netherwind Belt, great if you're a mage. Helm of Endless Rage, just a random plate, and then Nemesis Belt, great if you're a warlock. So we'll continue on our way here. Using any kind of speed bonus if you're running an old raid like this is pretty invaluable. For the enchanters out there, typically when I'm running an old raid, I like to disenchant all of this gear, but there's not a ton of value you get from it. There's a limited number of actual components you can disenchant any of this gear to from this dungeon. It all becomes Nexus crystals. They can be used to craft one sword in particular, but that is pretty much it in terms of usefulness. It's pretty slim. So I'm going to go trying to make my way up here. We're just going to do what we can, just race through at least this first set of random trash. The Fellstone Reaver. We didn't just start. It fell as a popular component recently. I'm gonna do a little disenchant here while we wait. What ends up happening if you get impacted, or when you get impacted by these components, they let out their blast of smoke, and that ends up giving a significant speed impact and reducing your speed by 80%. So use all of your speed buffs to get through this. And then if you're a pally, just rock a bubble. This is pretty much the largest inconvenience that comes with all this fun work. I shouldn't disenchant that Reaver. Illusion Dust. I don't know what currently the market looks like for Illusion Dust, but we're just going to clean our bags up a little bit. And let's see. Nemesis Boots for the Warlock, picking up all kinds of Warlock gear. Life-Giving Gem, that is for the Warrior, increasing max health. At that point in time, in WoW, the Warriors were the kind of go-to tanks. Like that's what tanking was all about once upon a time. So good to see that continued, although I don't run a warrior and I don't have a whole lot of value from it anyway. So we'll continue with the Nexus crystals. See, but there's really not much of a market, as I previously mentioned, just trying to keep my bags relatively orderly. And then the Sabatons of Wrath. So you can see once you get that 3 set, you increase critical strike by 1%. 20% chance if you get 5, and if with an 8, you've got a 4% chance to parry the next attack after a block, which isn't totally encouraging. I don't know if that would be what I'd be using to make my gear decisions, but obviously it was a different game once upon a time here as well. You'll see a bunch of random dragon bosses as we go. There's the Judgment Gaunts, and essentially all of the Judgment gear is located in Blackwing Lair, with the exception of one particular set. So I believe it's the pants. The judgment leg plates are actually part of the molten core, and I'll show how to get there, because that's another kind of throwback teleport to raid dungeon that you've got to make your way down to, but it's better than the alternative, that's for sure. A couple more dragons to go. Dark Fang Talisman, Storm Range Handguards. So for a druid, and pretty straightforward. It's all about impacting your rejuvenation. Is that bonus? That's a quick 20 Nexus crystals, but that's obviously not exactly what we're here for. Gauntlets of Wrath. So if you're a warrior, you should have been running with me today. I would have got at least 3 sets of loot for you, as well as a shield, or trinket, sorry. Impeding Scarab. That's those components pretty straightforward. Those Death Talon Worm Guards. Now finally the second last boss, Cro-Magus. This is where, if you're a paladin, your shoulders are going to drop. So we'll cross our fingers here and see how it goes. We'll hit it. The Pauldrons of Transcendence. So that's the cloth shoulders. Not exactly what I'm going for. The Shimmering Geta, which is just some random cloth feet. The Angelista's Grasp, which is more cloth, a waist, and the Bloodfang Spalders, which are shoulders for a rogue, and help your damage reduction and poison. Yike. Alright, so not exactly what we were hoping for, but we can still cross our fingers and see how the last one goes. There's always a couple awesome components when you're running any kind of dungeon like this. And we're gonna go way back. We'll dip out and we'll take a peek very quickly at exactly what we're at, but we'll speak to Nefarious, who's intimately tied with the affairs around Cataclysm, and you can see posing as a human right here. Provides a whole bunch of storyline quests. Definitely take some time, whether it's on Wowhead. Read up on Nefarious. There's some awesome components to the WoW lore that led up to this point. So do you expect me to cower before the mighty legion of Jaxzyn? You are nothing to me, less than nothing. Had I desired your head, it would have been presented to me on a pike. You had made the mistake that all mortals make. Lord Victor Nefarious sighs. Time does strange things to those that use it as a form of currency. I reply, I've made no mistakes. In your rush to glory, you assumed the pace of the game revolved around your actions. Can you even fathom how preposterous that sounds to a being like me? A being that, if so inclined, could cause your own insignificant thoughts to crush the peanut-sized mass of gray matter floating within your skull? You have lost your mind, Nefarious. You speak in riddles. It's simple, really. Allow me to summarize. Please do. In this world where time is your enemy, it is my greatest ally. This grand game of life that you think play in fact plays you. To that I say, let the games begin. And you'll see rather quickly, you've got these draconids, and they'll come flying at you from both doors. Essentially, they hang out here, and we start trying to clean them out pretty quick. Make our way over towards Nefarious. But at this rate, even when if you were just starting the raid, on a much lower level, you can see this kind of rate would be pretty intimidating. Just to stop all of these. Well done, my minions. The mortal's courage begins to wane. Now let's see if they can trend with the true Lord of Blackrock Spire. And I'm suddenly getting blasted by fire. And we kind of stop and question what that is. And it's this. Nefarian has been defeated. Big, ugly, live across many eons of time. Let's see what we're dropping here. So we've got the Helm of Wrath. That is a plate for a warrior. Wow, it was a great warrior run. Robes of Transcendence, that's for a priest, and that's going to get you your chest. The Dreamwalker Armor, that's some random BOE mail. Hyperion Greaves of Stamina, that's some plate feet. Archstrike Bow of the Whale. Dragonstalker Breastplate, that's for a hunter, that's your chest that comes with it, that's pretty awesome. Head of Nefarian, so this begins a quest, you have to turn this into the leader of the Alliance. The Archimetros Ring of Reckoning, so that's an agility stand bonus. Grey Sack of Gems, and Boots of the Shadow Flame. Additionally, there's Pattern, Warbear Harness. That's not sharp, that sounds half decent. And then the Lapis Tankard of Tide Sippy. We'll see what we can do. So I've got a little bit of gear here that I'm going to pick up, knock through, but I hope you all enjoyed watching it. If you've got any comments about how I should be knocking down, essentially, or running any of Nefarian's Lair, really, hit me up. Drop some comments below on things I can do better. Hit me up with a like, it really helps, and obviously subscribe. Okay, thanks for watching, everyone. See